My name is Jeffrey Smith, and I research the dangers of genetically engineered foods. And one of the aspects of genetically engineered foods is that they are Roundup ready. Most of the GMOs, genetically modified organisms, are Roundup ready, meaning they're designed to be sprayed with Roundup herbicide. So when we look at the dangers of GMOs, we look at the dangers of Roundup because the plants drink the Roundup and deposit a portion of it in the food which we eat and have a gift for us. And we're here with Stephanie Seneff, who's going to tell us about some of the gifts that Roundup gives us, in particular its active ingredient called glyphosate. Now, Roundup was originally patented as an herbicide by the company called Monsanto, and they own most of the patents for GMOs as well. And having studied Monsanto for a number of years, I can say that in their quieter, more reflective moments, they asked themselves, what would Darth Vader do? Because what they've come up with is a way of pretending that they're beneficial and then insinuating themselves into the food industry, the agriculture industry, and now it turns out that what they have is very, very dangerous. And among those very dangerous things is glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup. And it was the subject of a very comprehensive evaluation, an article co-written by Dr. Seneff, and it's called Glyphosate. This is going to be more science than you're ready for, the name here. Glyphosate suppression of cytochrome P450 enzymes and amino acid biosynthesis by the gut microbiome, pathways to modern disease. Now, I looked at this paper, and it all reads like that. Very, very difficult to understand. But what jumped out at me in the abstract, I'm going to read it to you. The consequences of glyphosate and all the things that it can go wrong are most of the diseases and conditions associated with a Western diet, which include gastrointestinal problems, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, depression, autism, infertility, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. We're also going to talk about anorexia and aggression and other things. So, Dr. Seneff, tell me, what is the central thesis of how this Darth Vader chemical can cause so many problems in our health?
I think the key thing is that it causes both nutritional deficiencies and toxins in your system. And it does both of these in part, maybe in large part, through the gut bacteria. Monsanto has always claimed that glyphosate is quite harmless to humans, like aspirin, and we shouldn't worry about it at all. And the reason is because it interferes with the shikimate pathway, which doesn't exist in our genes. So our cells, they don't have shikimate, no problem.
So in other words, the way that it functions by killing plants, there's a specific, you call the shikimate pathway. So pathway is not a path you walk on, it's a metabolic pathway. It means this causes this, causes this, causes this. But there's a roadblock at the beginning by glyphosate that says you can't do any of that. And that's what disrupts plants, etc.
And that's what kills them.
That's what kills them.
Yes.
So the idea then is that because humans don't have that metabolic pathway, then glyphosate can't get in the way of it.
Right, so it's harmless.
Right, so it's harmless. This was the basic premise.
Right. Now, here's a huge flaw with that premise. We have gut bacteria. Our bacteria outnumber our own cells 10 to 1. For every cell we have 10 bacteria, microbes of various sorts. And all of them have the shikimate pathway. So they're going to respond to glyphosate with extreme disruption of their livelihood. And in particular, glyphosate disrupts preferentially the beneficial bacteria. And so it allows the pathogens to overgrow. And then once you've got the pathogens, you've got all the toxins that they produce, and then you get inflammation, which wrecks the gut lining, you get leaky gut, and then these toxins get out into the bloodstream, they can go to the brain. I mean, your body is then responding to a very serious crisis at that point.